Hi, I'm Scott Dick, and I'm your host for this segment of Your Town. Welcome to the show, and I'd like to welcome today Arleen Hardenstein, who is a fabulous realtor who works the peninsula. So we're going to ask her some really nitty-gritty questions today, get the truth about real estate here on the peninsula. Arleen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Scott.
I really appreciate you coming on.
Well, I appreciate you asking me. It's quite a pleasure, to tell you the truth.
So I don't know exactly how to phrase this question, because I could say you've been here for a long time, or you've a long-time realtor, but you have been. So how long have you been working on the peninsula?
I was born and raised on the peninsula. I am in my mid-50s, and
I didn't ask your age.
so I've been working real estate for the last 12 years. I actually started in 2004. My brother-in-law is a broker, local broker, and he took over a local small boutique real estate office in downtown Pacific Grove. I was in customer service for 20 years, retail, and he saw customer service skills in me, and he asked me to get my license and come to work for him. And he was really smart. We inherited about 100 property management homes, and that's where he put me as property manager for a couple of years.
Oh.
So, well, what it helped me do, though, is learn the business. I was able to put out fires as necessary. I got a great vendor list that I work well with.
Figurative fires, not literal fires.
Figurative,
Yeah, okay.
like problems that arise, and things always happen. You might have a hot water heater that erupts or overflows, a toilet that overflows, septic system that stops working, leaky pipes. You're always dealing with something, and so it taught me the business, taught me how to read a termite report, taught me how to read a sewer inspection. The other great thing about it was all the agents in the office were working at their desks in the office at that time. So I was able to listen to how they did deals, how they got clients, how they retained clients, worked through problems. So in 2006 is when I started selling, and I felt like I was ahead of the game because I had the experience already. So I really thank my brother-in-law. He knew what he was doing when he helped me put me in that position.
So property management really set the foundation for your success as a
Correct.
realtor. Would you
Correct.
consider yourself to be a success as a realtor?
Yes, I do. I'm thrilled. You know, I work hard. I try, taking care of my clients is ultimately the most important thing. And I'm blessed I have business. So, you know, I would imagine that would be what I would consider to be successful.
Well, let me ask you a question that has to do with, I didn't know this until I took this job as a government affairs director, that real estate is considered to be, as realtors, you have sides of a transaction.
Correct.
So do you happen to know how many sides the average, maybe not even a member of the realtor organization, but your typical real estate agent, how many sides they might engage in a year?
Well, I understand from MLS meetings that I used to go to that a lot of the MLS members, maybe 40 or 50%, might only do one or two sides a year. Am I correct?
That jives with the statistic. I heard 2 to 4.
Correct.
But it's still pretty low.
That's very low. And so, in my opinion, they may be people that don't necessarily, it might be their second or third or fourth career, and maybe they're doing it for fun, the fun aspect of it. I think that there are, kind of the norm is there's probably 10 to 15% of the agents in our association that are doing most of the business, and I think that's the norm in most of the associations that I hear about. You know, you have people that are out there learning, people that, again, that are maybe phasing out their career, and again, people that are second and third careers that don't necessarily have to make this a full-time position. So
Because it's not food money.
it's not food money. So you are your own boss. You know, you
Right.
create your own destiny. So, you know.
So I don't want to put you on the spot, but how many sides do you have a year? Or average? I know it ebbs and flows.
So
Like,
it does ebb and flow. I would say probably for the last 5 or 6 years I've been blessed again. I'm doing probably about 25 transactions. Sometimes it's over 30. Sometimes it's in the low 20s. But again, you know, what I would love to see every year is 20 to 30 transactions a year.
That's sides, basically.
Sides, yes.
So that's hustle, though. That's not really being.
hustle.
That's nobody's handed any of that.
No, I work hard. You know, I work hard. I keep my head down. I believe in what I do. I believe in being a realtor. I believe in giving back to the community. I believe in being associated with MCAR and our state association and our national association.
And sorry, but MCAR stands for the Monterey County Association of Realtors. It's we throw a lot of acronyms around among us. She is part of the leadership team at MCAR, the Monterey County Association of Realtors, and I'm going to miss her if she ever stops doing it. Don't stop. Anyway, so we work inside the association and in the California Association of Realtors as well.
That's right, and what that does is it gives me credibility among, my clients, among people that meet me. I'm involved also in local government. I go to city council meetings. I speak when asked to speak on issues. And again, that gives credibility to people that know me from other aspects in life. And again, that's how you start gaining respect. I walk the talk, basically. Again, everything I do just about, I focus on my career, and the decisions that I make are, having to deal with success. Will it help me be a better realtor and be a better realtor for my clients?
So I noticed when you said 2004, correct, he brought you on, and that was the beginning of the boom, kind of.
Correct.
It was the build up to the boom. It's really peaked in 2006. 2007?
Yeah, we started the 2008, October 2008 is when everything kind of came crashing down. It took a little while for us to see it in the industry because, again, things were still progressing. What started happening is it was very difficult then to get a loan at that point after October 2008.
Sure.
But in a sense, I was fortunate, between 2006, 7, 8, I not sold or helped clients purchase that many homes. So I didn't have the personal clients that had invested so much into their homes, and then all of a sudden the market changed and we saw depreciation happen. So I was fortunate in that sense. I did help many, many people sell their homes, though, to try and get out of the burden of something they couldn't afford any longer.
They're completely underwater.
Not because of anything that they did wrong.
No, that's true.
Right? It was just the circumstances that happened. And again, things just started depreciating.
So between 2014 and 2017, other than, we can't completely discount the boom bust cycle that happened, but how has real estate on the peninsula changed?
We have less inventory, and that's just the nature of the beast all over California. So it has, the people that I see selling are a select few. It's either people that are usually passing, people that have passed. Mm-hmm. You've got people that are moving out of the area. Maybe they've retired and want to get closer to grandchildren, or want to cash out and again move to some place that is a little bit less expensive.
Or a lot less expensive.
Okay. Again, or get closer to grandchildren or children, or moving for a job transfer. So those are basically the people that we see selling. On occasion, we'll see move-ups, but I think that people understand what the market is now and how low the inventory is, and I think people are fearful that if they sell their home, where are they going to go if they're staying in the area?
Sure.
So that's another aspect is, telling them that, hey, we can do it. We can work that situation out. We can create strategies that will help do that. But so having said that, our area is very eclectic too. There are no two homes that are the same. And so finding the right home for the right person in the right area can be difficult. And then with the small amount of inventory that we have, we've kind of got all these factors that make it hard. If a new property comes on that's priced well, that's in good condition, in a great location, it will have multiple offers on it. So that becomes discouraging for buyers that have, made bids on homes, then they just don't quite get there. They just don't quite get their offer accepted.
Sure.
So, it's just a lot of different factors that go on, that you try and be their cheerleader. You try and give them the best advice that you can to get the offer accepted or to sell their property. And hopefully they listen to you and do, because we've got the experience. We've seen it over and over and over again.
I think the worst case scenario would be to And this is where the relationships that we talk about in the business come into play with a seller. I think the worst case scenario would be to encourage them to sell, and then basically you're dealing with a homeless family that's got a lot of money,
right.
but not enough.
But you can always write that offer, or you can accept an offer from a buyer subject to you finding a replacement property. And it could be a 30-day, length. It could, you could maneuver it so that it works in the seller's favor. Of course, you don't want to have that seller homeless. Or you can do a rent back again. So there's ways that you can work around it to give the seller confidence that they will not be homeless, that we will find them someplace to go. Okay?
I recognize that in our house in Carmel Valley, where we were going to renovate and sell, and then at some point I realized that if we sold, we couldn't move back.
I think that is crosses people's minds. If they sell and move away, they may not ever be able to afford to come back or be able to have the opportunity to buy again. So it's a big decision to make. And when we're counseling, that's one of the things that we talk about. You understand what the ultimate bottom line is going to be here, that you might not be able to move back into the area. So
well, you said counseling, and so if you hear people talk about the typical real estate agent out there pandering for commissions, you don't really hear people bandy that word counseling about, but you really do a lot of counseling, don't you?
Yes, I didn't realize, you have to listen. You have to be compassionate. And you go through a lot of different cycles. In the beginning, you're guiding them through the process. They've probably not sold very many homes in their lifetime, right? And many people that I deal with, I help a lot of people get into senior communities. So they may have been in their homes 30, 40, 50 years. Again, you're giving them direction. They've got the property looking good, but it's ups and downs. Through the negotiation process, they get mad because it's emotional. This is their home, and it's an emotional process for them. So it's listening. Sometimes you get chewed out. We laugh together. And we're hugging each other at the end. But I tell people that, we're going to go through this love-hate process. So I have to be the one.
I have to be the one going through the hate process.
You just have to be compassionate to whatever they're going through at the time. Again, my brother-in-law gave me great advice when I started. He said, "You never know what people are going through on the other side. Could be medical issues, could be family issues, could be financial issues, and you just don't know that. They don't tell you necessarily everything."
Right.
And so you have to be, again, compassionate about what is bringing whatever reaction on. So you just work through it, do a lot of listening, and try to give good suggestions and hold their hand. Just let them know that you're here to hold their hand, and you'll be here for them. So.
Well, that makes me think about the mechanization or the automation of home selling, and how, and I'm not just saying this because I work for the Realtors, I recognize this as a fact, that you can't get this kind of representation from an iPad, from a computer application on an iPad that says this is what the home is, what you should offer. I mean, people don't even really do that with cars, and that's much less of a purchase than a home.
You're talking about a huge financial responsibility. I think that with the computer and online Zillows and Trulias, people start looking months and months ahead before they really go out and physically look at properties. Our area is so eclectic, though. There are so many different neighborhoods. Again, there aren't any two homes the same. You can have a block that have 10 homes on it, and they're all different styles. And the interiors, you can have one that's completely redone and looking to the nines, and then you can have one that could be in original 1924 condition.
Right.
So again, it's educating. When people come here and say they want to move here or buy a home here, it's educating people about our area, and sometimes it takes time. The other part of it is mostly it's discretionary purchases, we're looking at a lot of people that are buying second or third homes here. I've always dreamt about living here because it's gorgeous and we have such wonderful community. But they don't have to buy, and they're willing to wait for the right one. You know,
Right.
so sometimes you're working with people, could be 2 or 3 years before they really find the right one, and also the ups and downs of the market they're going through too. So
I remember when you mentioned every house is different. I can allude. I can support that idea because I was in an open house. It's probably been 6, 7 years ago, and I'm pretty confident it was in Carmel Valley somewhere. I don't remember. I should know exactly, but I don't remember. And in the bathroom, everything in that bathroom was pink,
Yeah.
including the toilet sinks, bathtubs, backsplash. Everything was pink.
Right.
I didn't even know that you could get a pink toilet, but apparently what the person that was doing the open house said is that she was a higher end family, a lot of higher income, and she could afford to have that pink toilet, Pepto-Bismol pink, not shades of pink.
but she loved it. The owner
They
loved it.
They loved it. They lived there from the time they renovated, sometime in the 50s or something. Lived there until they passed away, and it was kind of an estate open house. They were selling it,
Yeah.
and I just remember thinking, somebody loved that pink toilet enough to go out and buy it, special order it.
Yeah, that's I love telling the story about a home too. Is because, especially when you've had a family that's lived there for a long time, there's so many rich, beautiful memories there, and that's what I try to, portray to buyers, potential buyers too. I mean, you're not only buying the home, but you're buying the experience, and you're buying the love that's there. You know,
Right.
so there's, I don't know, it's a great fun thing to do.
No, I recognize that when I first moved back from Europe to Carmel Valley, there was a home that had a tennis court above our house. And I've actually heard them playing tennis on that court. Now, fast forward 17 years later, and the family, I think the parents or one of the parents passed away. They sold the property. They sold the property and they subdivided that. It was a second lot.
They kept the tennis court.
No, they sold the tennis court,
Yeah.
and now there's a house that's about 96% finished on that house, on that tennis court.
Yeah.
I remember when it was a tennis court, and actually people played tennis on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's not a huge loss, but for me it's forever. And it's a beautiful house, and the builder is a great guy. It's not that issue. It's just that it's part of how it changes, how everything changes.
You know, a lot of the areas that I work in, people have been there decades. And
Sure.
again, there's so much history within neighborhoods, and, across the street, this so-and-so lived here. People love that. They're coming here because they want this community. They want to be part of it. So again, telling them the stories and giving them the history of the properties just makes it even more worthwhile.
That's the end. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'm
Thank
going to
you,
have you
Scott.
back. You're going to come back.
Okay, promise?
I promise. That's it for this segment of Your Town. I'm Scott Dick signing off. Have a great day.
Thank you, Scott.